Do you actually know which of your daily habits are hurting your cat? Most people think they're doing everything right. They feed them. They pet them. They let them sleep wherever they want. But most people are quietly causing harm without ever realizing it. And here's what makes this hard. The damage doesn't look like damage. Your cat isn't crying. They're not running away. They're just slowly trusting you less, slowly feeling less safe. And you'd never know. By the end of this, you'll see 7 ordinary things that feel completely normal, that are breaking something between you and your cat. And the last one on this list, it's the one most owners do out of pure love. That's what makes it the most painful of all. We'll get there. But first, there's one habit on this list that's physically harming your cat every single day. Not emotionally, physically. And there's a real chance it's sitting in your kitchen right now. Keep that in mind as we go. 1. Yelling when they mess up. Have you ever raised your voice at your cat after they knocked something off the counter? Of course you have. It feels automatic. Something crashes. You react. That's human. But here's what most people don't realize. Cats don't connect your anger to what they just did. Their brains don't work that way. A 2021 study published in the Journal of Veterinary Behavior found that cats regularly exposed to raised voices showed significantly higher chronic stress levels. They were also far more likely to hide, become aggressive, and avoid the litter box. They're not learning a lesson. They're learning that you're unpredictable. Think about that for a second. If someone randomly screamed at you every time you walked into a room, how long before you stopped wanting to be there? That's what your cat is living with. They're not learning a lesson. They're learning to fear you. 2. The brain. They're slowly starving. Ever noticed your cat just lying there, hour after hour, same spot, same blank stare? Most people think that's just what cats do. They're low maintenance, independent. They don't need much. You feed them, they nap, life is good. But here's the thing. That stillness isn't peace. For a lot of cats, it's defeat. Cats are hardwired predators. Their entire brain is built around one sequence: stalk, chase, pounce, catch. That's not a preference. That's a biological need as deep as hunger. When that cycle never activates, day after day, week after week, something starts breaking down inside them. A study published in the Journal of Feline Medicine and Surgery found that cats without regular play stimulation showed significantly increased rates of obesity, aggression, over-grooming, and depression-like symptoms, not occasionally, consistently. One owner shared that her cat had stopped playing with anything for months. She assumed he was just getting older, more relaxed. Then she spent 10 minutes dragging a feather toy across the floor. He exploded into life, pupils wide, body low, completely focused. She said she didn't recognize him. That was the cat that had been trapped inside the whole time. Tonight, try this. Grab any toy that mimics prey movement, something that darts, drags, or flicks. The best part is just getting started. Drop your city in the comments and don't forget to hit like and subscribe. Spend just 10 minutes letting your cat chase it. Watch what happens to their eyes. Watch their whole body change. That's not playing. That's their brain finally doing what it was built to do. And hey, if your cat has completely stopped engaging with toys no matter what you try, don't brush that off. We'll get to something in point 5 that might explain exactly why. It's not what most people expect. That sleepy cat isn't lazy. They've just given up. 3. The bowl. That's slowly draining them. Have you ever stopped to think about what's actually in your cat's food bowl every single day? Most people assume dry kibble is fine. It's convenient. It's what the pet store sells. It's what their cat has always eaten. If something were wrong with it, someone would have said something by now. But here's what most people don't realize. Cats are desert animals. Their ancestors evolved to get almost all their moisture from prey. Raw, fresh, full of water, not from a bowl sitting in the corner. Their instinct to drink independently is extremely weak. It was never supposed to be their primary water source. Dry kibble contains roughly 10% moisture. Fresh prey contains around 70%. That gap is enormous, and your cat's body is quietly paying for it every single day. A study from the Journal of the American Veterinary Medical Association found that cats on dry-only diets had significantly lower total water intake, even when fresh water was freely available right next to them. They just don't drink enough. They never have. Over time, that chronic low-level dehydration puts enormous strain on their kidneys. One owner switched her senior cat to partial wet food after a routine vet visit flagged early kidney stress. She hadn't changed anything else, just added wet food a few times a week. Her vet called the improvement at the next checkup remarkable. You don't have to throw out the kibble. Even adding wet food 2 or 3 times a week gives their kidneys something to work with. One small change, massive difference. And remember that physical harm we mentioned at the very start? This is it, sitting in your kitchen, looking completely harmless. If this is making you rethink things, hit like and subscribe. That's how we reach more people who actually want to do right by their cats. Every bowl of dry kibble is a slow drain on their life. 4. The touch that betrays their trust. Have you ever been petting your cat? Everything calm, everything perfect, and then, out of nowhere, they bite you? Most people think their cat is just moody, unpredictable, a little bit mean. They were fine 1 second and snapping the next. That's just cats, right? Wrong. Here's the thing. You touched the wrong place. And your cat tried to warn you before it happened. You just didn't know what to look for. Cats are wired completely differently from dogs. Their skin is loaded with sensitive nerve endings that shift from pleasant to overwhelmed in seconds. It's called petting-induced overstimulation. And it's not attitude, it's neurology. A study from the University of Lincoln found that cats showed the lowest stress responses when touched around the cheeks, the base of the ears, and under the chin. But stress hormones spiked almost immediately when owners focused on the belly or the base of the tail. Almost immediately. The body reacts before the bite even happens. And that belly your cat shows you? That's not an invitation. That's one of the highest forms of trust a cat can offer. They're saying, I feel completely safe with you. When you go in for the rub, you're not accepting that trust. You're breaking it. Tonight, try this. Next time your cat settles near you, only touch the chin and cheeks. Slow, gentle strokes. Watch how long they stay. Watch whether they lean in. What happens next might genuinely surprise you. That's your cat telling you __, quote, _1, __. And, hey, if you've ever had a cat that used to let you pet them and suddenly stopped tolerating touch at all, stay with us. Point 6 is going to reframe that completely. They weren't being difficult, you just weren't listening. 5. The box that makes them feel trapped. Where is your cat's litter box right now? Behind the washing machine? Tucked into a dark closet? Wedged into the tightest corner of the bathroom? Most people pick that spot because it's out of the way, hidden, convenient for you. And that feels reasonable. You don't want to look at it. You don't want guests to see it. So you tuck it somewhere small and forget about it. But here's what most people don't realize. Every single time your cat uses that box, they are at their most physically vulnerable. They can't run. They can't defend themselves. Every ancient instinct they carry and cats have been prey as long as they've been predators, is screaming that this moment is dangerous. A box wedged into a dark corner with one way in and one way out triggers every survival alarm in their body. Research published in Applied Animal Behavior Science identified litter box placement and accessibility as among the top factors linked to elimination problems in cats. Not cleanliness, not box size, placement. And remember earlier when we mentioned that a cat who's stopped engaging might be dealing with something deeper? This is part of it. A cat living in low-grade fear every time they use the bathroom isn't a cat who can relax anywhere in your home. One owner couldn't figure out why her cat kept going outside the box despite it being spotless. She moved it to a quieter, open corner of the room, still private, but with a clear sightline. The problem stopped within days. She'd assumed it was a behavior issue for months. It was a fear issue the entire time. They're not being difficult. They're telling you, quote, to follow the N+1 rule, 1 box per cat plus 1 extra, and place them where your cat can see what's coming. They're not acting out. They're asking for safety. 6. The love that feels like control. Can you honestly say you've never picked up your cat when they clearly didn't want to be held? Or pushed your face into theirs because they were just too cute to resist? Or scooped them up mid-nap because you needed that moment of connection? Most people do this constantly. And it feels like love. It looks like love. You're not being cruel. You're not being rough. You're just affectionate. But here's the thing. From your cat's perspective, something very different is happening. Cats are solitary hunters. They evolved with complete autonomy over their own bodies and their own space. That's not a personality quirk. That's a survival architecture built over thousands of years. When you override it, even gently, even with the best intentions, you're sending one message loud and clear. Your comfort matters more than mine. A study published in Animal Cognition found that cats consistently approached interactions more willingly and stayed significantly longer when the human allowed the cat to initiate contact. When owners reached first, cats disengaged faster and showed higher stress signals. Every time. And remember back in point 4, when we talked about cats suddenly stopping all tolerance for touch? This is often why. It's not random, it's not mood. It's a cat who has learned that their signals don't get heard, so they stop sending them. They're not pulling away from you. They're protecting themselves from the pattern. Tonight, try this. Sit near your cat. Don't reach out. Don't call their name. Don't make it happen. Just exist near them, calm and open. Then count how long before they come to you. What happens next might genuinely change how you see them. Because when a cat chooses you, when they walk over and press their head into your hand on their own terms, that's not habit. That's not hunger. That's a conscious act of trust. Let them choose you. They will. 7. Leaving them in a world with no one in it. Have you ever come home after a long day and your cat seemed completely fine? Just sitting there, calm, unbothered? Maybe they glanced up at you. Maybe they didn't, and you thought, see, they don't really need me. Cats are independent. They're fine on their own. This is the one. This is the open loop from the very beginning. The habit done out of pure love, or at least pure intention. You go to work. You live your life. You assume they're okay because they look okay. But here's what most people don't realize. Cats don't show distress the way dogs do. They don't bark at the door. They don't chew through furniture. They don't perform their pain for you. When a cat suffers from loneliness, they go quiet. They withdraw. They shrink. And that silence tricks you into thinking everything is fine. A 2020 study published in Current Biology found that cats form genuine attachment bonds with their owners. bonds that mirror the attachment patterns seen in dogs and even human infants. When separated from their person and then reunited, cats showed clear signs of either secure or insecure attachment depending on the quality of their relationship. They measured it. They proved it. Your cat is not indifferent to whether you come home. Cats who experience prolonged daily isolation can develop anxiety, depression, changes in appetite, and compulsive overgrooming. Not sometimes. Regularly, quietly, in homes where the owners had no idea. Think about that for a second. Your cat could be struggling every single day, and you'd never know, because they love you too much to make it your problem. You don't need to be home every hour, but leave enrichment out before you go. Create a window perch, and when you walk back through that door, don't just pass them. Sit down, be present, give them 5 real minutes. Because to your cat, you are not just a person who lives there. You are their entire world, the whole of it, and they wait for you every